Hey there, my name's Ted Galazianos. I'm an accountant and tax advisor, and I've been doing tax and accounting for over 30 years in the Chicago area. The last couple of years, I launched a YouTube video to help my colleagues and friends figure out a good way to process ERTC and do the calculations for ERTC. And it was an interesting journey. I was more or less cataloging my work during that time. I had no intention of selling anything, but it was picking up so much momentum as I was doing my videos, and you'll see through my YouTube channel at Ops Accounting, as I started working through my spreadsheet and started refining it and making it work the way I wanted it, people started asking for me to buy it. And so I did start selling it for a while, for the last year, I would say, and didn't sell a whole lot. I'm not here, I'm not a promoter by any stretch of the imagination. So, but I knew it was helping a lot of people, so I wanted to offer it because people really needed help with the ERTC calculations, and they still need a lot of help with the ERTC calculations. But over time, I realized that a lot of people were buying a spreadsheet, and they were not accountants, they were not CPAs, they were not attorneys, and they were just kind of doing it on their own, and it was very inexpensive at that time too. And I was just getting a lot of calls actually just asking for help and guidance on basic Excel spreadsheet techniques. So I decided to pull that down, regroup, get through this past nightmare of a tax season, which I'm sure you're happy that you got through it as well. But I'm coming back with a more formal process and a more updated spreadsheet calculation and calculator that I know will help you be a solid, offer solid services to your clients. And I know a lot of CPAs and accountants have still not really embraced the ERTC process, but unfortunately, all these ERTC recovery services are now coming on board. They're advertising aggressively. A lot of them, which I know quite a few of them, and I've been actually consulting with a few to kind of help them rein in their process. They do not have a good process for qualification. They do not have a good process for calculations. But it doesn't matter, because your clients, if they don't hear from you, they're going to go to one of these services. They're going to ask you why you didn't help them. And the credits are huge, obviously. They're astronomical. And it's really critical that you take advantage of installing some kind of ERTC process. And that's what this system is all about. And I hope it can help you. So obviously, a lot of us also didn't really want to pursue this, sooner, because obviously the regs were changing. We were waiting for final regulations. We were waiting to see if they were going to bring back the fourth quarter 2021. That's only been allowed, obviously, for recovery startups if they qualify. But we were kind of hoping for more final regulations, for lack of a better way to put it. But that hasn't happened. The other issue, if you processed a few of these the last year or two, the early ones took forever. Those are probably at the bottom of the pile, to be honest with you, because some of the older ones still haven't gotten processed from 2020, the ones that were filed in 2020 and maybe even early 2021. However, they are really ramping up. They are really improving their processing times. Received word from a colleague the other day. He submitted, and in 10 weeks, the client received refunds. So this is picking up a lot of momentum, which is another reason why I feel much more motivated to get this out there as soon as possible, so that I can give you the tools to do this. And I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I want to show you really briefly how this is actually, how my process essentially works. And what I'm going to do is provide a video tutorial. When you buy the spreadsheet system, it's going to come with a tutorial. And basically, what you're going to be able to do is go from raw data like this, and I'm going to go into what are you supposed to ask for? What's the best way to get this process going? and I'm going to explain, what kinds of documents you need to gather. Very, very simple. So you're going to go from a spreadsheet like this, which is ADP, all QuickBooks, all these services provide these downloads. It could come in a raw format like this as well. How you go from that to basically this, okay? All right, and so how to summarize the data, okay? And then from that to basically this, the actual ERTC calculation. And in my spreadsheet, I also provide a summary of what numbers you need to identify from the 941 and how to basically what numbers you're going to need for the 941X. I will go into, I know this looks intimidating, but it's not. If you can figure this out and you have some basic Excel skills, I mean, really basic. I am not an Excel master by any stretch of the imagination, but I was able to just hunker down and figure out how I wanted this to work and flow, how to coordinate the PPP, how to do all this. So when you purchase this spreadsheet, it will come with a tutorial. It will also come with this example so that you can knock these things out in less than an hour. And quite frankly, I've been known to knock some of these out in less than 30 minutes and even 20 minutes. And this is for, employees up to 100. Certainly, even if you go up to 500, it won't matter just based on the way that my process works. You're going to be able to process hundreds of employees and dozens of ERTC credits. And you should start going into, and if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to start looking at your clients, your client list, to be able to offer this amazing credit to them with the tools to be able to do that really, really quickly. And if you need help with the other thing I'm offering is if you need group help, like if you need training for your team, I'm happy to do that as well. Happy to answer your questions, but certainly if this is something you feel like you've needed or been procrastinating or waiting for something like this, or you thought you were going to be able to develop it internally, I would say based on the price I'm offering it for, it's just not worth the aggravation. I spent 4 months minimum trying to figure this out. It's very challenging. And I know a lot of people have their own basic spreadsheets and things. I've seen those, but I will tell you that this is so automated. And if you learn how to gather the correct documentation and put it into the spreadsheet, you will save hours and potentially days. So anyway, that's all I have. Best of luck to you. I do hope you take advantage of this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks again.